Welcome, guys, to Myndscapepodcast. My name is Anas with my wife and co-host, Candy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the guest of today, it's Candy. It's my wife. She's gonna tell us about, you know, where you came from.
Where I came from.
You came somewhere? From somewhere?
Yeah,
What? Where?
from my mom.
That's true. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you guys had a pretty good weekend or week.
Yeah.
Today we want to talk about religion. Yeah, so I think you guys like topics about religion and stuff like that. So we want to share some, some knowledge that we have. And Pumpkin with us in the house today.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about Islam and Christianity and maybe some other religions, like what's the differences, why we believe what we believe, why we think Islam is the truth. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be before we get this podcast started, first thing I want to say that I'm not, or our intentions not to disrespect anybody's religion. Or we want to have a conversation, between us, and hopefully you guys get to learn something. Our intention, like I said, not to attack anybody, not to disrespect any other religion at all. Our intention to, someone learn something from us, I guess, today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So first thing first, we're Muslims. If some people they might not know, she's revert couple almost a year now, right?
I'm like, why you say couple months?
I know, it's like a couple months now. Like about a year, I would say, or more. So
No, about a year.
about a year. Yeah, she's still learning. She's still struggling. We all struggle, we're learning as we
Yeah.
go. But yeah, let's get into it. So what's the biggest differences you see between Christianity and Catholicism? Very similar, and Islam.
What are some differences?
Yeah, what's some differences, like the main differences you see, kind of like.
Well, we go to church.
Mm-hmm.
It's very that in itself. It's a very different experience than when you just go to the mosque to pray.
Mm-hmm.
And like get-togethers, because it's the women and men are segregated, divided in the mosque. In church they're not, they're together.
Yeah.
You have to do like your first communion. The pillars to Catholicism are a little bit different. I believe there's 7, if I remember. What else? It's like a baptism,
Yeah.
communion.
Uh-huh.
Like if you really want to get into those, those are pretty much all the reasons you need to know.
Yeah.
But there's, even marriage through church, the do's of and don'ts of what you can do and can't do, like it may be really different. Like, for example, if you wanted to go to church, you would see that you eat bread and drink like a sip of wine,
Yeah.
and that in alone itself, it's very different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The way you pray, charity.
So let me
the
ask you
Catholics
this.
have like a whole government of its own. You
Yeah.
know?
Let me ask you this. Do you guys have example mandatory prayers you guys do every day, or you pray whenever you want, only Sundays you go to church? Like what's your mandatory prayers?
So you do pray, but they're not mandatory scheduled prayers like what you have. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I'm not very educated upon if there's certain prayers that you have to pray in certain times. I just know that growing up, my grandma and my sisters and I used to pray the rosary like every night. You know what I mean? We wouldn't go to bed without
So
praying the
what is
rosary.
a rosary?
So the
exactly?
rosary, yeah, I forgot. You're not sure. So the rosary, it's like a a prayer. It's kind of like a certain prayer, you know? You go through like a certain ritual. So for example, when we pray, we go through certain steps, certain hand movements, certain sayings. Well, the rosary, it's almost the same. It almost looks like this a little bit, you know? And it has five what do you call? Like 5 sections with 5 beads in them. And
Okay.
and the
Only
rosary,
5? Only 5?
yeah, I believe it's
Okay.
5. And it represents, or is it 5 with 10 beads in it? I'm sorry if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. It's basically like 50 beads, I think.
Yeah.
And it all represents something. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You have the cross and it all has a meaning. So, and it's traced back to when the Jesus was carrying the cross.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He would go through, there was like certain stations he would navigate to.
Okay.
So that's kind of like some of the meaning behind the rosary. But basically we would pray that every night. When somebody dies, you do certain prayers. But it's, to be honest, I'm the wrong person to answer if there's like scheduled prayers. Because you will notice, not just with Catholicism, like people choose to practice their religion anyway, like loosely, you know, or very no, I don't want to use the word extreme, but you know, to you know, to the point.
Yeah.
And with Islam, it's kind of like you have to do this. It's not optional. You know, it's not optional to pray.
It's not optional to pray. Yeah.
You
The
know?
only difference between a Muslim and a non-Muslim is the prayer. So if you're not praying, I mean, you're still a Muslim, but it really, you know what I'm saying? Someone asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam before, you know, be peace on him, that he said, what's the difference between, you know, he says is the prayer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we look the same, you know, we live in the same neighborhood and everything, you know, what makes us really difference?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it is the prayer. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, good to know. So
But there's tons, you know, tons of differences.
Okay, from what I learned about Christianity or Catholicism, there is it's more like a God conscious, and Sunday go to church, or you know what I'm saying, or Saturday go to church. Yeah, you can go any day, but more in the weekends, you know.
Yeah. So Sunday, it's because, you know,
You're not supposed to work
on
or whatever.
Sunday, at least the child Bible that I had a child Bible when I went to Catholic school for a little bit. That child Bible, it said, you know, that God finished building the universe, you know, like the world that we're in on the 7th day, which is Sunday. So we rest on on Sunday. You know?
Yeah, and you know we have in the Quran actually in 6 days, not 7 days.
Yeah. On the 7th day, it was like,
Completely.
I don't know if he finished it or it was already done. So it could be debatable if it's 6 days. You know, you can kind of debate that. I'm not sure. But, you know, if you don't have like a financial burden, you shouldn't be working.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, and in the Quran it clearly says the whole entire world been created in 6 days. Then he sat on his throne.
Yeah.
Which is throne. It's literally top of a paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the main things that I want to kind of like touch on what some of the differences between Christianity or Catholicism, or you know, with the Islam, because from what I saw on the social media and YouTube specifically, George Janko, this guy, he used to be a co-host of Logan Paul. You know, do you know Logan Paul? The older brother. I know you get him mixed up sometimes, right? The older brother. He used to be a co-host with him in a podcast show, whatever, you know? And he started his own podcast, you know, I think a year or so right now. He's doing pretty good. So sometimes I like to, you know, to see what's other people's perspective, you know, and he likes to talk about religion a lot, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I like to learn what other people think about their own religion, you know?
Yeah.
So he does try not to spread the Jesus Christ religion, or, you
Message
know,
or something?
a message or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But but when he talks, right, about his religion, which is his Christian, the guy, he seems very confused and he's really lost about. I'm just saying from his words, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That he be like, yo, like just like the answer, the questions he has. So one of them recently that I watched is, yeah, he's questioning himself if he should to baptize again or no, you know,
Okay.
because he was baptized when he was an infant through his parents.
Right.
Then over time, you know, growing up, whatever, you know what I'm saying, all this kind of like sins or whatever he did, and he was like, yo, like that one, from what he learned and read, that it's kind of like it's not really valid because you know, you're an infant, you know what I'm saying, so whatever your parents, you know, so you have to do one from your, like, your kind of your will, you kind of, you accept Christ, you know what I'm saying, just kind of like you have to refresh your body type of thing, you know,
Right.
or your spirit, like they
Very
say.
quick interruption before I lose my train of thought. So, because that one has to be out of your will, because essentially that was your parents' will and not yours.
Yeah, get the microphone closer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Essentially, because the first, what do you call, baptism was his parents' will, and it wasn't his will. Is that?
So, well, because you are an infant, you don't have like no
Right.
really like.
I mean, yeah. So, do you think? Which I don't know the way he was raised or anything like that, or I'm not trying to say his parents were bad influence or not good enough, but my question is, do you think if his parents would have been more strict or more engaged or more involved, or were they even involved in developing his faith towards the religion?
Yeah, he mentioned so many times his parents are from Syria.
Yeah.
You know, Middle East.
Yeah.
They are very Christians. You know,
Yeah.
like very strong, you know, Christians or whatever. You know, that's why he
Yeah.
claims all the time, his mom and dad. But so let me finish the story. So
I'm saying that because my question is, would he have a different? Would he not be going through what you're saying right now if his parents were a little bit more involved, or do you think that he's questioning his faith?
Yeah, it's part of it for sure. But he told his mom, so they have these discussions about, you know, he need to baptize again, you know, back and forth with his mom. And she was like, "Oh, that's very disrespectful to the Christ, to the community, and this and that. You know what I'm saying? You already baptized. You should be good. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying?" Then he said he read in the Bible, you have to obey your parents. You know what I'm saying? Whatever do you recommend for you and stuff like that, right? But he said in the Bible again, you said there is clearly, you can see you have to baptize again. It was a priest with him, or, you know, someone again preaches gospel, I guess, right? That he said, oh, you have to do it again, you know, but he can't. He has all this like a mental breakdown in his head. But I'm just saying that again, like it's just so much confusion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like why people contradicting themselves if he need to, no, he does not to, you know what I'm saying? Like things are not really clear for them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he was in Saudi Arabia. He was so he was praying. He had a lot of mental breakdown, you know, stressing or whatever about the situation. Then he was praying in his, you know, in his head or whatever, you know, that, you know, God to show him whatever, Jesus. Do you use Jesus? Please, Jesus, please, Jesus, right? And he was taking a shower, right? Then he heard in his head, "It's finished." It reminded him of this movie of Jesus he watched, a wall or bricks fall off, and, you know, and Jesus was saying, "Finish, finish," and the bricks falls off. I don't know what does that mean, but from what he's literally said, you know what I'm saying? I can find even the clips and I can show it to you guys. So So when that happened, he was taking a shower. He said it was in this hotel. The marble would start falling off. He never told anybody this.
The marble.
You know, the shower, it has like all
Yeah.
this marble and stuff,
Yeah.
right? This is the marble start falling off, you know? And I'm just like, man, like why Christians all the time they have like this crazy superpower. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They can hear God, they can talk to God, they listen to God, they shake like almost like shake hands. You know what I'm saying? It's like there is so much of hearing, listening, talking, you know what I'm saying? And I think this is very disrespectful. Do you think God actually will talk to a human being? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I see all these crazy signs that telling me blah blah blah, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it just is so much of a movie theater type of thing, you know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't really, like, it doesn't get in my head, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't make any sense, you know. You have a conversation. No one have, even Jesus himself, he didn't have a conversation with God. Only one that had a real conversation with God is Moses. He speak to him directly, you know what I'm saying? So even Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him, he didn't have that conversation, you know. He had the messages through Gabriel, you know. And that's it, you know what I'm saying? They don't have that conversation, right? But you know, human being walking in earth, they are saying, I talk to God, I heard the God, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's okay to say I have a relationship with God, you know what I'm saying, to a certain extent, but not a relationship you might have with your friends or your parents or even something like that. It's completely different. Something you are kind of like thinking in your heart and your head that you have a certain connection with the high power, you know what I'm saying? But again, for them always to connect it to a human being, which is Jesus, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole entire another topic of, you know him being God and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So what's your thought about like all this craziness? Or, you know, it's kind of like someone being I don't know, from outside looking at it, I was like, bro, you are delusional. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it has so many stories like that like he's so confused and he does not know what to do when he's asking and seeking for these answers, and the answers are not really clear to him, you know, and it seems he's very struggling. So what's your opinion about like? And I know you come across with the different people are saying same thing, like you know, talking about how they saw Jesus, how they shake hand or have this crazy relationship, and you know what I'm saying? Speak under tongue. Have you heard the speaking under tongue too?
Yeah.
You know, like Jesus will bless them or spirit, then all of a sudden would speak under tongue. That
Yeah.
means it's kind of like you
Yeah,
become a
no,
prophet in a way.
No, I totally get that. And I actually do have very personal experience with that because, you know, I lived with my grandmother for almost all my life, childhood life.
Yeah.
You know, I forget how old I am. Where I'm like, I have to clarify because I'm not that young anymore. My childhood life.
Yeah.
And I have seen like her speak in tongues, you know, like I have seen that. Now, with that being said, can I understand? I don't understand it. I can't relate. I don't really know what that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know because me gone through growing up Catholic, I could just never relate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would feel comfort praying however I knew how to pray and like having that connection with God because you I believed in one God and I didn't believe that Jesus Christ was God. You know, I was that kind of Catholic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm that kind of person still today. That's why I, you know, reverted. But I don't know. I really can't I don't know the answer why Catholics and Christians that happens
Like,
to them.
Or believe. Okay, I will tell
I'm
you.
speechless.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. I'll tell you a simple answer. When you are following a wrong path, you know what I'm saying? you not following the right religion, you are following a false teaching, not exactly the fundamental of being good human being, but
Mm-hmm.
just like believing in this spirit, believing in this, you know, all this like three gods in one god and type of thing like that. You know what I'm saying? And going to churches and stuff like that. All
Essentially worshiping
a false
someone else or something else besides God.
God. And this, and again, in Islam, this is the worst thing you can do. You know what I'm saying? Is associating somebody with God, you know, or worshiping someone else, you know what I'm saying, with God. You know what I'm saying? So always, if you add anything, you know, like, yeah, we praise all the prophets, we praise Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him, but we don't pray to him, or you know what I'm saying, we don't associate him as a god or closer to a god or nothing like that. He's a human being, he was a great prophet, and that's it, you know. And so when you start doing this and you are in wrong and saying a lot of different things, you know what I'm saying, putting yourself in very you know, evil places, you know, from Islamic standpoint, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, the devils live, or jinns, you know, some people might, you know, call them jinns, live in these in different kind of places, you know what I'm saying? And the devils will take you in this crazy robber hole. And I believe in some people, like those speak in their tongue, they start doing a different worships beside like what normal Christian will do, you know, just going to church and everything. They start, you know, doing a different rituals that basically play, quote unquote, for them. They understand. I don't know if they have intention to do it exactly to bring the jinn, or quote unquote, I'm like satisfying this desire for spirit, because spirit, it is like, it's like some spirits, something like an air, right? Like something you can't see, like basically,
Yeah.
which is the jinn. You know what I'm saying, right?
Not
Or
it
the
doesn't
angel.
have it doesn't have a body.
It doesn't have a body, right? Spirit is something, you know what I'm saying, like something we can see. It's like like almost like an air, and you know, just to kind of put a picture to it, right?
Yeah.
So you know, it could be a good spirit. Maybe if it's a good spirit, let's call it, it's angel, right? And if it's a bad spirit, maybe it's a bad jinn, right? Or devil, right? So when you start doing this, yeah, some people start working literally with the jinns, you know what I'm saying? And they will start seeing things that you're not able to see. They can hear things that you're not able to hear. They can know the, and to a certain extent, to unknown things, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because they're not a god, you know, but they can might tell you something, what maybe coming, quote unquote, in your future, what is gonna happen to you, what happened to you in the past. I don't think so they can predict the future, but they can predict what happened. They can say maybe some things that happened to you in the past. Let's say if you got divorced, like, oh, you got divorced, you were married to this person, even they don't know their name. When they know those things,
Yeah.
because literally the jinns tell them exactly what's going on. How? Because every human being, we call it in Arabic Karin. Karin, someone is like similar to you at your age. You know what I'm saying? That's what Karin is. So if I'm making a, if I didn't, you know, maybe explain that right, forgive me, guys, but that's for my understanding. You know what I'm saying? Karin is someone similar to your age, and that is kind of like spirit, if my Christians would call it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Literally, he born with us. You know what I'm saying? Since we came out from our mother, right? Then that Karin with the other Jin guy, you know what I'm saying? He come and kind of like they talk, and he told him everything about myself, because he's with me 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? He's with me. It's my Karin. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's how do you know things about you. You know what I'm saying? Your name, even if you don't tell them your names and everything. You know what I'm saying? And of course, when you speak in the tongue, example, you're saying all this crazy stuff and blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? You sound like a crazy. Yes, because literally you're not the one you're talking. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's who makes you talk is literally the jinn. You have to check yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the only way, because all the prophets are gone. You know what I'm saying? All the big miracles,
Yeah.
are gone. You know what I'm saying? So no one will come and be like, look,
No
I'm
random person from like
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm like
Tennessee
this
or someone.
spiritual. I can,
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like we don't human being, we are limited. We don't have any such a power like that. And
Yeah.
the people that believe, people speak in the tongue. I'm not saying they are lying, but I'm saying who's making them do or speak that way because literally they shaked hand with the devil. They shake hand with the devil. Sometimes they are knowing of that, sometimes they don't, or sometimes they've been sold a wrong story. They think it's a great thing, but it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
how.
that's an interesting
So and I watched that
concept.
too. They had this little debate about people speaking their tongue and stuff like that. And like I
I
said,
mean, it's okay. So let's just say, like an example, I'm over here speaking in tongues. Can anyone translate what I'm saying?
No.
Or are they gonna like it's not like a language. It's
no.
not
Yeah.
right? It's not you can't translate that, right?
Yeah. And that's what. Yeah, that's why it's like, oh, he has a spirit. Blah, blah. Yeah, like the spirit of
This,
jinn.
yeah, and people say, yeah, the spirit's in him or whatever.
Yeah,
And it
it's-
thinks it's the spirit of God.
What they call when someone has a jinn in him?
Like in English, like possessed. Yeah.
Possessed, yeah. So literally, he's possessed. So and he has to do a certain all of them. Yeah, a lot of people they hide these things, but all of them they have to do a certain rituals exactly to satisfy the jinn's desires. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Every
And
jinn
so,
it wants a certain
I have a
things.
question, a little bit off topic. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if you know the answer. So you're saying when that happens, the person's possessed, right?
Yeah.
When they're speaking in tongues or whatever. So would you say that just because
What?
they don't have go ahead.
I'm sorry, just to interrupt, because it can be someone possessed and he's not working with the devil or the jinn. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He just possessed, has someone in him, and it make him act certain way. And there is people possessed because they want to be possessed
Right.
to have the quote unquote extra knowledge, like basically employees
Yeah.
that nobody can see.
So would you say that that person, even though they're not experiencing like what you see in like scary movies, like their head rolling, 360, they're not puking, they're not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because they're not doing these like horrible, kind of weird, impossible things,
Yeah.
just because the person's not experiencing that, would you say that it's still very possible they're possessed? Like that's not something that they need to go through in order to say I'm possessed. They can be possessed just only like if they're speaking tongues. You get what I'm saying? Like the side effects of being possessed.
Yeah.
A lot of the times we see like in the movies, this is how it looks like being possessed.
Yeah, actually, I had a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, when I was in Morocco. His dad, he was and possessing people, so removing or taking away the jinns from the body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, performing an exorcist.
An exorcist. Yeah. And I seen clear videos, and there is even family members in 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 my family, not exactly close to, it's not like my uncle or my sister, or something like that, but in my bloodline kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? We know them, and we seen them the way how they act. You know what I'm saying? When they hear Quran, you know what I'm saying? When they hear actually God, words of God. You know what I'm saying? They start acting up really crazy. They get tight. You know what I'm saying? And they start freaking out.
Okay.
They want to turn the Quran off, or if the guy or someone speaking about God or reciting Quran and stuff like that, they want to attack him and stuff like. They can't attack him directly because they literally Quran, it burns them. You know what I'm saying? But they're trying to shut it down some kind of how. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To not keep hearing those things. So it is real. So and I seen that clearly in videos by my friend. You know what I'm saying? His dad, he does that work, right? And his son, he records him. Literally, this is my voice, right? When I'm possessed, when the jinns start talking, I have a different name, different age, and literally my
Your
voice
voice
is
changing.
completely can turn from a man to a woman. It
Yeah.
depends who, and I have in my body. You know what I'm saying? And I can say all these things. And a lot of people, the ones did not want to just, let's say, quote unquote, by accident got possessed. How it happens, usually being in the wrong places, wrong time, stepping on things, taking piss outside sometimes at night in certain places you don't know exactly over there.
Seriously.
Yeah, a
Ooh.
lot of them, they're like, you're doing something outside like that, throwing things, or taking piss or whatever, and you hear like, oh, the jin's talking, my childrens were playing, and this guy walking and did this and that. And you can't see them, you know what I'm saying? So and they punch him, you know what I'm saying? So they take over his body, right? And these people, were like going against them, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, I'm not scared of them, F this kind of like Christian creation, you know what I'm saying? Have these genes, blah blah blah, like always going hard on them, and one day, boom, being in the wrong place, wrong time, and they get him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's real. It's real thing that people can be possessed, but some people want to be possessed in a way to shake hand with the devil and the jinns and start working together.
Would you say
It's
that
like the witches,
Would you say that ghost are essentially jinn,
Ghosts, yeah.
or is it a separate?
Yeah. Ghost and jinn is same thing. It's just I'm using a different word. Yeah, ghost or jinn, yeah.
So
Jinn is Arabic word, and
So-
ghost is English.
when someone, a lot of people, especially in the movies, and I
Jinn.
use the movies a lot because that's how people get a general idea of things. So let's just say there's somebody dies in a house,
Yeah.
and their ghost stays there. You know what I mean? Or they become a ghost. What would you say to that?
I'm sorry. Okay.
So let's just say I died here, for example, in this apartment. God forbid I die. And my, like, people say, oh yeah, Candy died in there in her apartment.
Yeah.
And her ghost has been there like ever since, just haunting the apartment.
I don't
What would you say to that?
I don't really believe things like that. What I believe is, if the house, right, being empty for so long, the ghost can come and live in it. To be like haunted house, right?
Yeah.
Because it was so empty. And ghosts or jinns are similar to us. They get married, they have kids, you know what I'm saying? They have religion, they have Christians, jinns or ghosts, you know what I'm saying? They have Muslims, Jewish, they have an atheist. They're literally like
Yeah.
us, you know what
We
I'm saying?
saw the movie Soul, remember?
Yeah.
About
So-
the little ghost. Do you
I don't
remember? Soul's a really good kind of representation, I guess.
Yeah.
Like visual.
So they are similar to us, you know what I'm saying? Some of them, like I said, they are Muslims and stuff
It's
like
a
that. You can have
society.
you can have, yeah, like a society. We believe under the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I was going with this, yeah, was said when a property, it gets banned
Abandoned
for so long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It can be haunted. From my understanding, but what I heard, I'm not sure if this has some truth, but it says it's not good to leave your house more than 40 days. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody to go and make some coffee, like just enter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like kind of like
Not essentially abandoned.
not abandoned. You know what I'm saying? It says when property can be more than 40 days, it starts to again, it could be this wrong number, but from what I heard, I don't know how much truth to it,
Yeah.
but overall, it's just that, you know what I'm saying? Anything abandoned for so long, it can be Not always that's the case, but can be, because they want to live in a home. You know what I'm saying? They want to be warm and all that. You know what I'm saying? They always live in some places. You know what I'm saying? So then when someone bought that house or trying to like go in that house, then those ghosts think it's their property. It's like, yo, no, I just bought it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? They start giving you a hard time because this is. It's like someone walked into your home. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they think. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, this is my home now. Yeah. And that's why you see,
Squatters.
yeah. But if someone died in there, I don't believe those
don't
things.
believe that thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying. Only if that person, you know, he or she was like a witch. You know what I'm saying? Doing all this, like working with the devil and all these things. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And obviously, when people work with the devil and, you know, ghosts or jinns, that's their property too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even the person died, those things stay in there. They don't go with them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's another one.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I know we kind of got off topic, spiraled a little bit,
And ghosts and stuff,
but yeah, that's always fascinating to me. You know, I grew up watching like scary movies.
yeah. So the thing is, again, with George Jenko, I think he's very sincere, looking for real answers. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling him a bad guy or anything like that. You know, he's very sincere. He want to get closer,
Yeah.
but he's in this rabbit hole of being, and he's in the wrong path. You know what I'm saying? He's in the wrong path. He's following a human being, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And following all these teachings is wrong, and he doesn't have clear questions. He has so many, like, if you guys go and watch him, he has so many unclear, literally sincere questions. I'm like, if you came to our religion,
What's one
to
of the
Islam,
questions that he has?
huh?
Like, if you can answer a question for him right now, what would it be? Which question would you answer?
Okay, let me think of it from my head.
Okay.
So one of them that I remember is, you know, when he asked for forgiveness, how he's supposed to know he's forgiven or no. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
An example, you know what I'm saying? In Islam, we have, when you're sincere about forgiveness, to be forgiven about certain things, always be accepted, God accept forgiveness from you, and 100%. You know what I'm saying? It's you know what I'm saying? It's being accepted, right?
Yeah.
For him, he's not sure if it's accepted or no. You know what I'm saying? And when he go back and make another mistake, he feel hypocrite. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And in Islam, we have all these teachings. You know, God, even we can ask him millions, thousands of forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? As long we are sincere again, we'll ask about that forgiveness. God will forgive us, and he knows in our hearts what's in our heart. You know what I'm saying? So and why he has all these confusions, you know, because of the Bible, it's not clear. It's not completed Bible or religion or a book. You know, it's not completed. There is so many different questions people have. You know what I'm saying? I can come up all different questions, but I know, and I watch so many Christians or Catholics, they have questions literally about different topics on different things, and they don't have clear answers, because the Bible is not a completed religion or book. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't talk about everything. Example, in Quran, why we believe is a true book. Yeah, there is so many different things. You know what I'm saying? Why it's a true book. This is one of them, because we are talking about the questions and stuff like that. This book, it can answer any questions. You know what I'm saying? It can answer any questions. God talk about marriage, how you should get married. You know what I'm saying? We'll have literally the whole entire chapter about women and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And if the things maybe not mentioned in the Quran, the Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him, that he talks about them. You know what I'm saying? And he explained them. We have when the parents pass away and leave the wealth behind them, how the kids should split the wealth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How much man can take and how much women can take and everything. You know what I'm saying? The marriages, the talaq, the divorces, charity, when you make a sin, anything, I don't know, just can you like just talk about like a random thing, you know what I'm saying? Literally we have to the details why you should do what you should do in the situation, what you should not do in situation, who you should marry, who you should not marry, you know what I'm saying, how you should raise your kids. So, and for a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Why you have to get circumcised if you're a
The
boy?
rights of a boy, of a baby boy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, a baby boy. You know what I'm saying? The rights for anything like that, right? With the Bible, they don't have all these like details in their religion. You know what I'm saying? In the Bible, so people customize their own way
Yeah.
of the how to go about things, or sometimes go and ask a priest and he's not really he's not informed too, just because he's learning just from the Bible, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's not really completed Bible, and basically they are always doing the wrong things, you know what I'm saying? And another thing too, like in Islam, you cannot have a relationship with a woman, I mean, you can, but it's haram, you know what I'm saying? It's haram completely to have a relationship without a marriage, right? And if you look here in the West and a lot of places too, majority of the relationship between man and woman are, Christians and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, that have, and even in their book, it's not good to have, like, it's a sin or whatever, but I think the way how they look at it, because they're, because Jesus died for their sin, they're like kind of okay, or it's not like a major sin or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And being,
Or they say Jesus is love or God is love. So
yeah, and this is
like, love
another
is
one
love.
too. Yeah, I just like, it's like,
it's so cringe just hearing love is love.
it's like like anything's like love, like it's like we're living in honeymoon. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just so much love, and absolutely you gotta love your neighbors, love your kids, love your wife and everything, you know what I'm saying? But the way how they represent it, you know what I'm saying? Why can be three in one, spirit, Holy Spirit, God and Jesus, you know what I'm saying? They're like, a majority of the Christians will explain it. So when a man and a woman love each other, they bring a child to each other. What is this? All love, but they're all one family. So one, you know what I'm saying? It has always been included love. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like a rainbow. What is a heart religion? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, loving everything around you, people, respecting them and everything like that. You don't have to love someone, you don't have to love your neighbors, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta respect them, not harm them and anything like that. It's not mandatory of love, you know what I'm saying? Because your heart choose who to love, you know what I'm saying? We don't like, you know what? I want to love this person. You can make yourself to love someone, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think that's the case even when you get married? Maybe like there's an arranged marriage, right? Where your mom arranged for you to marry me, and you don't love me, but you're marrying me for out of respect and out of fear of God.
Yeah.
Do you think that you can be like let me love my wife? Like, can you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you make yourself love your wife?
And absolutely, I think, no, you can love your wife, and a lot of people, love it come with the time. You don't love somebody in the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Love is being earned and built. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you see how that person is acting toward you, how he really cares for you, and how much he's willing to, sacrifice things for you, you know what I'm saying? And all these things, that's what makes love, like to really love someone, you know what I'm saying? Seeing somebody for a day or so, you're not gonna love them, you know what I'm saying? You like him, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I like your personality, you cool, whatever, but it doesn't mean you love them, you know what I'm saying? Love, it comes with I believe you have to earn it. It's like trust,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so, and that's what I'm saying. And again, why we believe Islam is the truth, because we, if you look to the history, because again, with Christianity or Catholicism, this stuck with Jesus and that's it, you know what I'm saying? But if we go back, what is they believe on Moses and all this, but why they don't talk about him, why they don't mention them as much, just Jesus, 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 you know what I'm saying? There is so many. So where Adam comes from, who create Adam, you know what I'm saying? God, right? So, and who create Noah? What Adam he was actually preaching and he was selling to his people. You know what I'm saying? To believe only in one God, until, you know what I'm saying? Because back in the day was no prayers and stuff like that. It was only, if you believe there is only one God, you basically Muslim. And again, Muslim or Islam, it's not a new word that was created after Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him. A lot of people think Islam, it means submission, right? You submit your will to God. So if Adam was submit his will to God, what we're gonna call him? Muslim, because he submit his will, you know what I'm saying? And all the prophecy that comes after him, you know what I'm saying? And we believe them, all of them, from Adam all the way to Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him. All those, because they submit their will to God and to preaches the word of God and to worship only one God, you know what I'm saying? They all, that's what make them Muslims, you know what I'm saying? And Islam was created from day one, you know? It's because a lot of people, they say two things about Islam. They say, oh, Islam is not, it's like being written after, or the Quran was written kind of like stolen from the Bible. You know what I'm saying? It was like taken from the Bible, because the Bible was created before, before the Quran. Or some people say, oh, it's a new religion because of Prophet Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? But that's, again, is false. Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him, he wasn't able to read or write at all. You know what I'm saying? So if someone, he can't read or write, so how he's able to steal from the gospel?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He can do that, but he has revelation through God, from God, through Gabriel.
Yeah.
That's how we have, and it's still living miracle in this earth until this day. The how preserved the Quran is, and the gospel, Testament 1 and 2, whatever, all were true, they came from God. Also the 10 commandment, you know what I'm saying, from Moses and all. But the thing is, they've been manipulated over time, you know what I'm saying, with those people. And that's why God revealed the Quran. And when he revealed the Quran, he said, this book, the people will protect it. He, like, it's not gonna happen like the previous books. This book will be protected forever by the people. I'm not gonna. He's protecting it, but he make the people to protect it. How? Because of memorizing the whole Quran.
Yeah.
Again, the only book in the whole entire world being memorized is the Quran. You don't see any other books, people preaching the whole entire book from their heart. You know what I'm saying? They don't know exactly word by word, letter by letter. We have people, millions of people, they know a word by word, a letter by letter. If you miss only a letter, they will correct you. Or even if you miss pronounce the word, they will correct you as well,
There's always someone else to correct you.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
you cannot. And God mentioned that. You know what I'm saying? Said this book will be protected by the people. You know what I'm saying? And that's again another thing. That's why we believe this book is the truth. You know what I'm saying? And the Quran had never been changed at all.
Yeah,
And the
that's amazing.
and the
God is
Prophet
great.
Muhammad, he wasn't able to read or write. And he's the one that he told them about, or he's the one that he didn't write it. The what do you call him? His companion write it. You know what I'm saying? So Gabriel will reveal the chapters of Quran, and again, it didn't come at once. It came a little bit by little bit over. I believe that's why we do the fasting. That's where the month of when the Quran was revealed. Month of Ramadan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Prophet Muhammad, like I said, he's a true prophet because he's the one that revealed the Quran. You know what I'm saying? And another thing too that I want to mention, that a lot of people assume that Prophet Muhammad, he didn't make any miracles or didn't have any miracles. Even a lot of Muslims actually, they don't know about these things sometimes. Because Jesus has a good amount of miracles. They kind of focus on him, like walking on water, bringing someone after that, death, and bring him to life again and stuff like that. But the Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him, that he makes so many miracles also too. One of the major ones, I would put at first, is the Quran. We still have it after 15,000 years. You know what I'm saying? We still have it. You know what I'm saying? And all the things that the Quran talks about, it's happening in the world. We can see it and stuff like that, right? So some of the miracles that Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him, that he mentioned in the Quran, he mentioned what he did. I mean, the miracles that he did is splitting the moon in half, right? Because these believers, they come to him like, oh, you're a false prophet, you're just a liar, blah blah blah, all this crazy stuff, like they did to all the any other prophets, the same thing. It was like, okay, if we want us to believe you're the prophet, split the moon. Again, by God's will, God, he did that. But the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he asked to do it, right? And the moon been splitted, right? And after they split it, even these believers, he says, oh, you tricked our eyes. You put like you know what I'm saying? Like, you tricked our eyes. It's like you put the magic in our eyes and we see it that way. You know what I'm saying? That's not true. Then they start walking like that. They found someone was traveling, coming from some far away, traveling, just like passing by, and they asked him, was like, did you see the moon was split in half? They're like, yeah. And in Asia, after thousands of years, after the Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him, died and everything, they were doing some studies or whatever, and they have in their own side of they saw the moon was split at that time. You know what I'm saying? It was just like written in their history or science or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's not only those people, the guy that was traveling, he saw it, and even now this, we have, people talking about that time when the moon was split it, and like I said, the Quran, he healed the sickness people, you know what I'm saying? Many times they will be in a battle, with the, wars and stuff like that. They don't have food and anything like that. Someone invite them to their home. They don't have enough food and everything, but they were like thousands of people, like an army. You know what I'm saying? And those people, this guy, he uninvited all of the Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him. Because he didn't have a lot of food. You know what I'm saying? He wants him to eat and everything. Prophet Muhammad, he didn't want to go by himself, so he took everybody with him. To eat. And it was like, I don't have, the food to feed all these people. He said, it's okay, just say Bismillah. You know what I'm saying? And when they got there, everybody eat and got full and everything. That means like God blessed the food. And thousands of people fed. You know what I'm saying? That's not a miracle. And one time they went again in another battle like that. They were running out from a water. They don't have no water or anything like that. And I think it was very small water from this little bottle. One of them has it or whatever like that. And they were like, oh, we're from water, we're gonna die in the desert, blah blah blah. And Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him, he said, wipe your hand over the bottle like that. And this guy is like, his hand was dripping from water. And everybody drank water. Thousands of people drink water, and they did the wudu, to do the prayer. And there's more and more. And he went from Mecca to Jerusalem with the angel Gabriel, from Mecca to Jerusalem in the nighttime. He went back and forth, which is impossible to do it. You can't go, even you use a horse or camel or anything like that. You can't go in the distance just during the night. So you go all the way to Jerusalem and came back, and it's still nighttime. You know what I'm saying? And there is other ones that I'm kind of like, maybe I'm not aware of them, or I've kind of forgot them right now. Yeah. But there is plenty of miracles that the Prophet ﷺ that he did. Because this lot of Christians, they ran into, it's like, well, the Prophet Muhammad, he didn't do any miracles. The Prophet Muhammad, he, the abusive man to women and stuff like that.
Yeah. You hear that often.
You heard that often. It's like the escape away. The Prophet ﷺ, he never put his hand on any woman, his wives or none of his wives.
I think the most common statement or question that I hear when people want to debate or paint Islam as like a bad religion is what we were watching earlier. They say that he was a pedophile.
Yeah, I do believe. Again, it does like a completely huge mistake or misunderstanding of different times of the world. Like example, like during Adam's time, you know what I'm saying? I think he lived like 600 of years or whatever. So if we said someone lived 600 of years or whatever, is that bad? Or it's like, is that crazy to you? It's because it was a different era. It was a different time. People used to live like thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? And it was normal. You know what I'm saying? Again, that was a different era. And again, when Adam was created and and Eve, right? And how they start like society. Brothers and sisters who will marry each other. They have like twins. You know what I'm saying? So you have like two sets of twins. You know what I'm saying? So let's say me and you with twins. Then another set of twins. Usually it's a boy and a girl. You know what I'm saying? Then we switch, right? So because
what do you mean
we can't marry together like that because we like came out in the same time. But you can marry the other set that came from a different time before us or after us. You know what I'm saying? That's how they start society. You know what I'm saying? So how you gonna call that? Like very immoral, crazy. Now it's haram to marry your sister, your brother, or anything like that.
The circumstances were different. I think people are like more willing to do that because of that time,
Yeah, no, because that's how. Yeah. And again, and they don't do anything just because they want to do it. They do it always because all the prophets, they don't do anything from top of their head. They do it because God told them so. So the Prophet ﷺ, he didn't marry all these women because he wants to, right? And a lot of people, they don't know that too, that Prophet ﷺ, he got married first time of his life when he was 24.
25, right?
25, yeah. He was 25 and he got married to someone was older than him. She was 40 years old, But a lot of people are like, oh, because she was rich, that's why he married her. Like, no, she literally wanted to marry him. She offered herself to him.
She proposed to him.
You know what I'm saying? Why? Because how ethical he was, how nice he was, how trustworthy he was, how honest he was. Everybody respected him. All these things that he had, you know what I'm saying? That were, she was very attracted to him and she want to be around him, and he stayed with her all the way. And when he started marrying more women, and
Divorced with kids, right? With kids.
yeah, divorced with kids, and he took another 3 or 4 kids, and no one is gonna who's gonna do that these days, you know what I'm saying? But and still he did that, right? And he didn't get married at all until he become a prophet, you know. Until he become a prophet, then what after she died, then he got married, right? So and the 9 year you know marriage, Aisha radiallahu anha, that again, that's another one, because he did that again because it was a different time, a different era. People like my grandma, actually, she got married, I think she was 13 or 14. 13, I believe. And she's only 80 years old, right? So this is just recently, and she got married 13, and it's normal. All her friends, all everybody, and it was normal because when you become a woman, people, they don't think about how old are you, like, are you a woman, yes or no, you know what I'm saying? And
It's not like now.
like now it's like, who really
She's 25, doesn't really know how to do much.
yeah, it was a different era. People have a different teaching, they put them in the field of work, anything, learning things, how to become a mom and everything, very young age, you know what I'm saying? As long you can start walking good, I guess, and stuff like that. You start cooking, you start cleaning, you start helping your mom to raise the children at home and stuff like that. So by the time you hit 10 years old, you really know how to do everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
By you do 13, you already have a kid or two.
Yeah.
And it's still happening actually until this day in certain places that, maybe when like in very small, maybe villages and stuff like that. And still people get married in very young age.
Yeah.
I'm not telling people go and do it, but I'm just saying people
I
are
think it depends on the maturity level and the knowledge level.
Yeah, exactly. So this thing, like, I personally, I won't do it, you know what I'm saying, to get married to, because again, I'm in a different place, in a different era, you know what I'm saying? So let's say if I want to get married to a 15 years old someone, that would be very immature thing to do. Just,
Her
you know what I'm
character's
saying?
very mature.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not talking about immoral, and it just like the connection is not gonna be good at all, you know what I'm saying? Because again, we live in a different era, so and that's why. And Aisha radiallahu anha, we call her our mother. How respect we giving her, or God wants to give her, and the Prophet Muhammad, he married her because he was told by God, because she was chosen to be, because she was very intelligent, and God, he chose her. It's like a prophet almost, you know what I'm saying? There is no prophet in women's, but I'm just saying, and I just want to give you like an example, so God chose her to be, because she's gonna be a good teacher,
He knew what she was going to become, obviously.
exactly.
Yeah.
She's gonna she's gonna help people. God has everything planned, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why she was chosen, and he was married her from his best friend, they call themselves brother, and even when the Prophet, be peace on him, when he said, I want to marry your daughter, he said, but we are brothers. But we said, we're not that kind of brothers, that means like we're not our blood, we're not the same blood, you know what I'm saying? We're brothers in a religion, we're brothers because we take care of each other and stuff like that, and that's why, and he was happy, and like I said, his best friend, and who's Abu Bakr? Abu Bakr, someone was very known in Mecca, again, honest person, trustworthy, very influential person. I believe he was rich also, so it's, and he, and so like those people who come together, and this marriage, it's impossible to look at it and be like, it's not okay, and that time too, a lot of people forget to mention, a lot of people used to get married young that time. So because if that, you're gonna hear everybody else will be like, why you are marrying someone this young, this is not, but it was nothing going on that time. Nobody called him any name. They don't call him private files. They don't tell him you taking advantage of this, but and nothing like that, because it was normal, you know what I'm saying, that, like, you know what I'm saying. So and but now, because we're living in a different era, so we're looking at it from a different lens. And this is the only escape away to, Christians scapegoat. Seriously. Yeah, so yeah, so that's why we believe what we believe, because like I said, we have everything explained to the teeth, from anything you want to do. If you want to go to Hajj, why you should go to Hajj, why we fast, why we not fast, if you're not fasting, what you should do, if you're pregnant, what you should do, you name it, you know what I'm saying, how you should do business. Even business, imagine we know, or how, like, you know what I'm saying, how you should the business be done, you know what I'm saying, to not take other people's money and stuff like that. We understand why we shouldn't use the interest. And I believe too, Christians in their Bible, they're not allowed to use interest, but who use the interest? Majority, or Christians, Catholic, the people of the gospel book, you know what I'm saying. And the Jews, I believe they shouldn't use it against them, or between them, but they can use it for other people. But these days nobody cares, you know what I'm saying. It's like part of kind of human nature, or you know what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And another one too is very important, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he predict the future. You know what I'm saying? The things we're gonna be seeing, the things who's gonna be coming. You know what I'm saying? All because of power of God. You know what I'm saying? He was not just like he slept and he was speaking in the tongue or something like that. He being told. What things, like he talks about all these long buildings. The interest will be widespread. And even the people, they are trying not to be use it, right? They're gonna be afflicted by its dust. So the people, they don't want to use the interest, they will be still getting the flecked from it, by its dust. Like, it's gonna go to you no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna touch you, it's gonna get to you. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Yeah. So all the predictions we said about what's coming in the future, that's a big deal of them. My little baby in the background, I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's going crazy. He's watching us. You want to be on a podcast, Papa? Come tell him Allahu Akbar. So yeah. So do you have anything, maybe any other questions, so we can close this podcast? Because my little papa want to be in a podcast. Yeah, we good? That's it? Yeah, no questions?
I don't.
No concerns?
I mean, we can go on and on. I think
Yeah.
we want to do probably another gin episode.
No, the gin. She like to. Okay, if we're gonna do a gin one, as long as we do it in the morning, because I don't want to shake no hands with the gin. I'm just kidding, but yeah, guys. Yeah. So if you never read a Quran before, I will highly recommend it. I think you own it to yourself. Don't keep listening to uneducated people telling you what Islam is. There is so misunderstanding. Like, every time I see an argument about, like, a non-Muslim, you know what I'm saying? Oh, the Muslim people, the LGBT, the homophobia, like all this crazy nonsense you hear, and trying to look, we believe what we believe, and everything we believe is coming from God, and we respect God's rules, and if you don't like it, so be it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, we don't attack anybody, and you can call us terrorists or whatever you want to tell us. We understand. We believe we're not a terrorist people. We don't don't do attacks like that. We're not supposed to. Yeah, maybe if there is a Muslim did an attack like that, it can be, but he doesn't mean he present to Muslims, because clearly in the Quran we're not allowed to kill innocent people at all. So if people sick in the head believe in different agendas being paid by any side that's on them, not on the Muslims people, we're on press women's. We don't do anything like that, because in the Quran actually women has the best rights ever you can think. You know what I'm saying? Women being protected, women being doing all these things. We're on.
Rights are there. It's just up to the individual to
Yeah,
abide by them or not.
yeah. People. Yeah, you might see in the social media, in a different world of different parts of the world, that some women's parents forcing them to marry a certain guy and stuff like that. That's not in Islam. That's, yeah, they call themselves Muslims, you know what I'm saying, but they are uneducated, because the things what happen is the people mix the culture with the religion. You know what I'm saying? Culture and religion, they don't go together at all. You know what I'm saying? Religion is religion, culture is a culture. If culture, like, let's say American culturally, we drink beer in the weekend. If you're a Muslim, if an American Muslim, you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, because the culture
Choose religion over
over culture. So yeah, forcing your daughters, beating your wife, and all this crazy stuff, nonsense you might see in the social media, has nothing to do with Islam. That's not what the Quran preaches or teach. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he lived the best example on all of us, and all the prophecies speak about him, even he's been in existence. Jesus spoke about him, that another prophet is gonna come after him, this and that. And I looked at it again, like all these religions. I look at it like an iPhone. An iPhone first, when it came out, it was like all this, like, it's still iPhone. It looks like an iPhone, but there is all, every year there's an update, there's upgrade and update. And Christians, they got stuck with like iPhone 5. You know what I'm saying? And they never want to, like pass to that. Again, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but I'm just saying, if you look deep into it, Jesus, Isa, he spoke about the Prophet Muhammad, be peace on him, that another prophet is gonna be coming after him and stuff like that. And we believe Jesus come from a Virgin Mary, and we don't believe God can walk with us and eat like us, and you know what I'm saying. I think that's very disrespectful to God. And when we say, I talk to God, and you can talk to God, like, meaning asking God for things, asking him for you know what I'm saying. But we don't say like, I'm talking to God because I'm telling, like, I'm like talking to God, like almost you mean it like I'm having conversation with God. This is disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Because no one can do that. Yes, you pray, you ask God for anything you want. Yeah, from my standpoint, I'm asking, not talking. You know what I'm saying? It's because when you talk, you kind of having a conversation with someone. So, and I feel like Christians kind of disrespect God a lot when they say certain things like that. You know what I'm saying? Because God, he's we're not able to see him. He's the all powerful and anything like everything like that. So we doing too much when we're trying to yeah, just gonna make him like humanized. I think they feel good about themselves too when you're like, oh, God can, and a lot of in atheists too is like, okay, if there is God, we can come down and we can just stop everything what's going on right now. Just come and talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to bring him in this low level, But those people too, when they go to their job, they are like a little slaves, and anything their boss tell them, they agree with it, and they can even like, stand up for themselves. But they are asking God to come down and shake their hand or some crazy stuff. I do be
understand. They don't understand the concept of God, like how great is God.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They can't comprehend how great and powerful he is.
Yeah.
So that's the result.
Yeah, and if you don't, and if you can see that, see yourself, the way how you walk, the way how you eat, the way how you use the bathroom, the way how you can have a conversation with people, the way how just look to yourself, how I can move my hand, how I can scratch here, like all these things. You think, who can create something like this? You know, and just think about that little sperm that turns to you or to me or to you. You know what I'm saying? Just think all of this. You know, all these mountains, all these like different weathers, different temperatures, fruit, food, animals. You know what I'm saying? And why God creates everything like this? Because we kind of like we balance each other. Why God wants us to? You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know, like I don't know, from my point of view, it's just it's very hard, you know, to not believe there is God. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things cannot exist of nothingness, right? You need to, you know what I'm saying? So it has to be something very powerful to but like I said, the people that did try to not believe or disbelieve or whatever you want to call it to God, this is the people are slave to their uh, I'm not talking about Christians here, but I'm talking about like an atheist or whatever, that they're slaves to this to their bosses and to the people. Literally, if because if you're not slave of God, you are slave of a normal human being. You know, you literally you worship your boss. You can't say anything. So all the things that you don't want to do to God, you do it to a human being. Well, it's you know, your life, your choice, I guess. You know, do whatever you want to do with it. I think this is the end of it. Hopefully, yeah, I think this is the end of it. Hopefully, I don't break any hearts from people. Don't hate me. Just want to share some good advice, and hopefully we did a pretty good job. All right, guys, make sure like and subscribe. We didn't tell you to drink coffee. Make sure to drink your coffee, and I will see you in another one.